Okay, hey guys, and welcome to Makeup Shopping 101. So, some of my friends who are guys, and a couple of girls too, but mostly the guys said that they wanted a little bit of help trying to figure out what makeup is and what they should get their girlfriends for Christmas. So, I figured I would do a little sort of quick informational tutorial. I got them to send me some questions, which I've written down on my phone that I can flip through and try and answer as best that I can. So let's start out with the basics. So if we're going through this, you need to know what it is first. So you're going to go step by step. So first things first is primer. So you have a couple of options, different things that are primers. You could do a color correcting primer, something like Stila, or you can do just the regular primers. This one is Too Faced The Hangover. So the basic idea for what primer is it's something that you put on your skin before you do any other makeup. That way the makeup can last longer, and also sometimes if you're doing something like the Hangover primer, it's just something to sort of hydrate your skin, make it feel nice before you put all the makeup on top of it. Now after you've done primer, your next step generally is foundation. So for foundations, there are a few different ones. You can do liquid or you can do powder. One that I have here is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. Now, since I'm really pale, I have limited options for what foundations I can do, because not all ranges come in the skin tone that I have. But foundation generally is to have a base on your skin. It evens out any redness, any discoloration that you might have, and it just gives you sort of the clean canvas before you start your makeup. Moving on from that, next thing is concealer. Concealer is generally used for any breakouts that you have, so if you have any pimples you can try and cover those, or any bags under your eyes. You just take a little bit of the concealer, your wand, you just put it underneath and then you blend it out. And it gives a more pigmentation than foundation does, so it'll cover anything that's missed. Next thing I will go into is mascara. Now, you will find so many different types of mascara. Mascara is one of the things that you don't really need to buy at like a high-end place. I have mascaras mostly all from the drugstore because honestly they're all pretty good. It's just finding the one that you like the best. So mascara you put on your eyelashes and it's to darken them, give them a little bit more length, a little more volume, and it just helps to frame your eye a little bit. Then we have eyeliner. Now there are a couple different types of eyeliner. One would be a gel eyeliner, so those are the ones that come in a little pot, and you need to use a brush to apply it. So, there you go. I normally use an angled brush, so just something that looks like this. It's tiny, it's skinny. You can dip it in and then you can just trace along your eye. Another option for eyeliner, if you don't want to have something that needs a brush for it, is a liquid eyeliner. So it has the little pen tip on the very end there, and that one you can just draw directly onto your eyelid. And last option is pencil liner, something like this. Now pencil liners are generally if you want to do more of a smoky look, so you can use it to line your waterline, which I wouldn't recommend using the other two for, just because they tend to run a little bit more. Pencil eyeliner is if you want to put some eyeliner in there that you're going to blend out to make smudgy. If you don't want it to be like a sharp line, that's generally what you would use pencil liner for. There you go. Then you're moving on to eyeshadow. Now before you put eyeshadow on, you should use an eyeshadow primer. So you can do something like the Urban Decay Primer Potion or a MAC Paint Pot. These ones come in colors, so if you want to have a colored base, that's helpful for that. So these are basically, they do what face primer does for your face. It helps to keep the makeup in place on your eyes and it keeps it from creasing. And it also just gives you a smoother base to work on when you're putting your eyeshadow on. Then there is the actual eyeshadow. So I'm going to show you a palette. So this is the Urban Decay Electric Palette. Palettes are generally good if you want to get more value for what you're buying. Also, it comes automatically with the case, so you don't need to worry about having to find somewhere to store your eyeshadows or getting one of those little like containers for them. So, eyeshadow palettes. These ones, they come out with a lot of sets of eyeshadow around Christmas, so that would be something that I would recommend looking for. Now after that, you're moving on to something for your brows. So brows, kind of like eyeliners, you have a couple different options. So you could do a gel, something that you need a brush for. You could do a liquid that has the little applicator pen on it. Or you could do a pencil, which you can just draw on. Now for brows, it's kind of personal preference, and my favorite one is pencil just because it's a little bit easier. It's not as finicky. You can get it well blended without getting harsh lines or having to like worry about kind of missing a little bit and having a problem. So those are your different brow products. Then there are lipsticks. So lipsticks, you have either the regular tube lipstick that you can apply just from there, or you have liquid lipsticks. And liquid lipsticks are a little bit more hardy, they last longer. They are a little bit more drying though, so if you figure out which one your girlfriend likes, or if she's good with makeup, either one would probably be fine, because they're both good. Then there is blush. So blush is something that has a little bit of color. You can have normally pinks, corals, even reds sometimes, but that's kind of rare. And it's to put a little bit of color back into your cheeks after you have put the foundation on. So if you just wear foundation, you look very flat, one-dimensional. Or if you're pale like me, I can normally just get away with it because that's kind of, I don't know, it's just a look that I can do sometimes. But blush puts a little bit of warmth back into your face where you want it, so you don't have redness like on your chin or under your eyes, but just on your cheeks it gives you more of that healthy glow. So that's the purpose of blush. Then there is highlighter. Highlighter you can also get in like liquid form, but I have the powders mostly. And highlighters are meant to accentuate certain parts of your face. So you highlight like the tops of your cheekbones to make them stand out a little bit more. You can highlight the top of your Cupid's bow to have that pop a bit. And highlighting is the opposite of something that someone does called contouring. And now contour palettes are very popular right now. You get a ton of them. This one is an Anastasia one, so you have the highlight shades for light areas and you have the contour shades for dark areas. And it's to give dimension to your face. So anything you contour will sort of sink back in, anything you highlight will pop out. So you contour under your cheekbone and then highlight on top of it, that way it looks more pronounced, something like that. So the last thing, if you want to finish off your makeup look, you don't really need to use this, especially if you set with powder, is a makeup setting spray. So these things you can use if you want to make sure your makeup will stay in place, but also they have sort of nice fragrances, or they'll have some sort of like skin health properties, so it can be moisturizing or it'll have certain oils in it that's good for your skin to sort of help counteract what makeup does, because makeup, it coats all of your skin, so it makes it that it can't breathe. So having good materials or good ingredients in the makeup makes it a lot better for your skin, and it just makes it easier to not get like more breakouts and that sort of thing. So, oh, that actually leads really well into the first question that I have written down here, which is there good makeup and bad makeup? Now, there's not really like good or bad makeup, it's mostly personal preference. The only things that I say could make makeup bad would be if it has sort of like dangerous ingredients, if it's not made to like health regulatory standards. So just make sure that wherever you're buying makeup from, normally if you go into any drugstore or any high-end makeup store like a Sephora or a MAC, they're not going to have anything that's dangerous for your skin in the makeup. The only time you really need to be careful is if you buy from like, I'm trying to think, like an eBay or makeup stores online that have brands that you haven't heard of. So if you haven't heard of one, or actually you probably haven't, if it's one that isn't sort of a name brand or a mainstream brand, make sure that you research into it, see what sort of ingredients they use. Just that way you don't end up getting something that's going to be dangerous, because some makeup, if it's really cheaply made, could still have like lead and mercury, that sort of thing in it. It's really rare now, but just be careful. Also just check reviews. If something's bad, generally people will give it bad reviews because they want to make sure that other people don't make the same mistakes they did when they bought it. Now, a couple of different high-end brands, if you want to try and look for those. So you have things like MAC, Bobbi Brown, Makeup Forever, Urban Decay, there's Stila, there's Too Faced, Benefit, Kat Von D, NARS. There is the actual like Sephora brand if you go into stores. That's sort of it's the company's brand of makeup, so it's a little bit less expensive than the ones they need to buy off of other brands, but it is still considered like a high-end brand. Now, makeup brands, if you want to be a little bit more conservative on it, if you want to not spend as much money but still get good makeup, you can go to something like NYX, Maybelline, CoverGirl, L'Oreal, Physicians Formula. Also, if you look online, a good brand that I can't find in stores in Canada yet is ColourPop. They have really good lipsticks, that sort of thing. Okay, so if you want to try and find somewhere to buy these from, a good place, one place that I go all the time for high-end brands is Sephora, just because they have sort of all of them together. You don't need to go around to different stores to try and find like Makeup Forever at one or Benefit at another. Because if you're in a place like Toronto, they will have their own separate like pop-up stores. But Sephora will have all of it at once, and they'll have people that can actually help you try and find things. Your other option is MAC, because they have they're their own line of makeup. They don't have other brands there. It's sort of like if Benefit opened its own store, or like an Apple store. Apple sells its own products in their store. So MAC is the option for that. I like MAC a little bit too much. It's not good. I have a problem. But they have really good brands and they have really good products. So I wouldn't say, the only thing I wouldn't get at a MAC store would be the mascara. I just think it's not really worth it. You can get good mascara anywhere. Now, if you want a place you can go to get either drugstore or like the high-end brands, I would say Shoppers Drug Mart is really good, because recently they renovated their stores to have a like high-end section in them. So they have brands like Stila, Benefit. I think I saw, which one was Caudalie? I think I saw Caudalie there too. That's more of like skincare though. So they have ones there, and you can also use the store discount at that, so that's very good if you're trying to save money. And then of course it's a drugstore, so you have the drugstore brands like the CoverGirls, the Maybellines in the actual store section still, beside like the regular, like the cotton swabs and all that. Drugstore things. Then also you can look at Walmart, or you can check online if you know it's a good brand. But like I said before, if it's something you haven't seen, just make sure that you do your research before you buy anything, because you want to make sure that it's going to be good and it's going to be safe. Now, someone asked what the most commonly used makeup is. That's sort of a tough one, because it depends what sort of makeup your girlfriend does. One thing I would say that almost everyone has would be mascara, concealer, and eyeliner. Those are probably the ones that most girls, that if they do makeup at all, they'll have those three. Now, at the same time, this sort of leads into another one, and it's what makeup to avoid buying for your girlfriend. One thing that I definitely would not buy unless you are certain that you are getting the right color is a concealer or a foundation. Because speaking from personal experience, as a pale person, it is very, very difficult to find a foundation that actually matches my skin. Because a lot of the ones I'll get, I will look like I have a pink mask on my face, or like I have an orange mask on my face because it's way too dark. Now, if you have a foundation that she already owns and that matches her skin, then you can bring that foundation with you, and they'll get a comparison that'll be a similar color, and it'll be the same color and it will match. But just be careful. Be very careful if you're doing that. Another thing, if you want to avoid buying, I would say avoid buying mascara unless it's some really like high-end or fancy one that you know she wants but doesn't really want to spend the money on. Just because mascaras, it's kind of like the dime a dozen thing. Like, every girl has like a ton of mascara. It's just one of those things that you pick up for $3 from the drugstore and you don't really ever run out. At least I don't. I think I have like probably 15 tubes of mascara that I have not touched in ages. And honestly, should probably throw out because it might be going bad by now. Okay, so here's some ideas. So someone asked what some new or cool makeup products that are out right now are. One that I really like that I found is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea eyeshadow palette. Now, this is more like the high-end, it's healthy brands, and it's more, I think Tarte is one of the vegan brands. I need to double check though, I'll pop that up on the screen if that's right. And this is more a nude palette. It's something that everyone could use. It's an everyday makeup look. She'll definitely get use out of it. Another one that I really like is the Anastasia Beverly Hills The Modern Renaissance palette. Anastasia has been expanding their product range intensely, and they used to do mostly just like brow products, but now they're coming out with liquid lipsticks and eyeshadows. So take a look at that brand because that's really cool, and you'll find some cool stuff there. And then there's Urban Decay, their Full Spectrum palette. Now this one's a little bit more pricey, but I think it's definitely worth it for what you're getting. And if you're doing it for a gift, that's definitely something that's a little bit more... It's something that most girls wouldn't spend the money on themselves unless they're like really into makeup. Now for actual products that are pretty popular right now, I'd say look at highlighters. Highlighters are really sort of popular and trendy right now. Also liquid lipsticks, they're sort of like the in thing instead of regular lipstick because it lasts longer, they don't move as much. It's for like the trendy thing. And then face masks. Face masks are really popular right now, and they're just really nice. Whenever you put one on, it feels nice, it makes you happy. So now here are a couple of gift sets that I found on the Sephora website. So if you want to take a look at this, just to see what there is. So for under $25, then there's the Sephora Collection Blushing For You Blush Palette. This one's $20, and it's a nice little range of blushes if you want to get something like that for your girlfriend. Then there's the Glam Glow Pout Mud Lip Balm Ornament. Now this is sort of like Christmas themed because you can put it as a little tree ornament on the actual Christmas tree. And Glam Glow is great for masks, and then for this lip balm, it's supposed to be like amazing. Now if you're looking in the range of $25 to $50, there is the Sephora Collection Face Mask Set. As I said before, face masks are really in right now, and I've tried a couple of these before. These things feel like heaven on your skin, they're so nice. Then there's the Smashbox Try It Kit. Now most brands come out with sort of a mix of sample sizes of their products. They come out in little gift sets around Christmas. And it's a good idea if your girlfriend wanted to try like a new makeup brand and it sounds like it's something she'd really like but she doesn't know yet. Maybe get her one of the little try it sets of either like Smashbox or Makeup Forever, one of those sort of things. Then there's the Urban Decay Lipstick Is My Vice. So this is a palette of lipsticks, and they're gorgeous. Now it is $45, so for lipsticks, for what you're getting, it's absolutely amazing, but it's a little bit on the higher end for the products that I've listed so far at least. Then if you are planning on splurging, if you're going $50 or over, there is the Tarte Pretty Paint Box Collector's Makeup Case. That one is $77. Now this one comes with a collection of makeup. It's all really good, and Tarte is a well-known brand, and it's a really good brand as far as like ethics for making it and all those sort of things. So if that's something that matters to your girlfriend, then I would recommend this one. Then there is the Glam Glow Gift Sexy Super Mud Set. So like I was mentioning, Glam Glow is great for their masks, and this is a set of different masks that they've had. So if you wanted to try that out, go for it. The last thing I have listed here is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit. Now this is a palette of Hourglass highlighters, and I think it has 4 of them. Now it is $95. Hourglass is kind of like the Ferrari of makeup brands. Like this stuff, it's gorgeous, it is beautiful, it is really well made, and it's going to last you for ages because you don't need much of it. If you're doing your makeup, you don't need to sort of pack it on. But, oh god, I want this, but I would not spend $95 for myself on it because I can't justify it. But if you want to spoil someone for Christmas, this thing is very, very cool. Now, if you don't want Sephora, or if you want to find somewhere a little bit less expensive, I will show you an option. So if you still want to get something but don't want to venture into Sephora, I would recommend Winners. They don't have a consistent stock from store to store, but if you find something, there are a lot of different options, and sometimes you're lucky that they have something that they keep at Sephora, but for a lot less money. Okay, so there's that. Now, for one last question that I had listed was if they wanted to try and do a beauty box subscription. So there are a couple different options. There's things like, there's Ipsy, there's Glossybox, there's Birchbox. I personally used to get Ipsy, and I don't know if it was just the preferences that I set on the questionnaire, but I didn't personally find it that great. Like, I got a couple of things that I liked, but it wasn't that amazing. Now, I haven't tried the other ones. I have heard good reviews on them. One thing though, beauty boxes generally ask questionnaires, so they'll ask like what sort of brands you like or what sort of makeup you use a lot of. So if you don't know the answers to those questions for your girlfriend, I would recommend maybe just giving her like the option of a beauty box. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. If you wanted to offer to like give some sort of like little handwritten like coupon thing, or like type it out on the computer saying, I will pay for 5 months of subscription with one of these things, or 3 months subscription or whatever, and then give her the information or give her the money, or just sit her down with you when you fill out the information thing for the actual purchase. Just that way you know that the stuff that she's getting is stuff that she's actually going to want and stuff that she's going to use, because beauty box subscriptions are really sort of personally tailored to your preferences, which is what makes them good, but also makes them a little bit more difficult to shop for if you don't know the person's preferences for makeup. So yeah, that is pretty much the questions that I got sent. If I covered anything that if I didn't cover anything that you wanted to know, leave me a comment in the description below. If I get enough questions sent back to me, I might do a sort of follow-up video, but I hope that this helps a little bit, and if you have any more questions, just let me know. I will try my best to answer them. Have a good day, guys, and happy makeup shopping.